Hey guys, today we're going to make a spiral Zentangle. So we're going to start off with a square piece of paper. You're going to take your pencil and try your best to find the middle of your paper, put a little dot, and from there you're going to draw a spiral or a line that keeps curving out and around itself until you get to the edge of your paper. I know it's hard to see, but we really want to draw light so that it doesn't show up when we paint over it. So then we are going to paint on top of that spiral. You get to choose whatever colors you want, but it's nice to keep in mind that if you take colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, like green, blue, purple, or red, orange, yellow, they mix together really well, or red and blue because they make purple, yellow and blue because they make green, and so on. But if you get complementary colors, they do not look good. So red and green, orange and blue, and yellow and purple. They kind of make a mess when they're together. So just keep that in mind when you are painting. You guys know I love rainbow, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get some red to start off with. You have to make sure you use lots of water because these are watercolors. I'm going to put my red in the beginning of that spiral, and you want to make sure that when you're painting, you're making a thick section so that you have plenty of room to put your patterns on there when it's dry and it's time for us to put our patterns on top of our colors. So I'm very carefully putting my paint down. I'm going to get some orange. I'm going to start off with my orange away from my red, put my orange down, and then I'm going to touch into the red. That's what helps the colors blend together if you want them to blend really nicely. Since it is watercolor and it is wet, they will flow together. You just have to be careful and make sure that you really want them to blend before you touch them together. And here's my yellow, same thing. I'm going to start a little bit away and then touch into that orange to try to blend it together. And I'm going to keep going. I'm going to make my yellow a little bit bigger, put in some green, making sure that where I am painting makes a very thick path. If you get any on your paper where you don't want to be painting your spiral, you can dab it up with a tissue. You want to keep going until your spiral reaches the edge of your paper. And there you go. We're going to let that dry. Then it's time to put your patterns onto your spiral. I'm going to let you guys use gel pens. So you're going to pick a color and you're going to draw your pattern on top of your paint. Not in the white space. You're drawing your pattern on top of what you just painted. You can pick your color of gel pens. You can pick whatever pattern you want to put on there. But we want to fill up the entire space. Remember, a Zentangle is using a pattern to fill up a space. So that entire spiral that you just painted, we want to have patterns on it using lines, shapes. You can use the colors of the gel pens, or you can draw little pictures. So I have 2 patterns down, and you're going to do that with the whole thing. Now I have my whole thing filled in, and I put my patterns all over it. You can use the same patterns, just try to make sure that they are in different sections of your thing. Then you're going to take a Sharpie and you can trace inside or outside of your spiral, but I would like you to have at least part of it traced because it adds contrast. It's got that really dark edge against those bright colors, and I think it looks really cool. Then you'll get to cut it out. And there's 2 different ways you can cut it out. This first one I'm going to show you, you can cut the entire spiral out. I like to leave a little bit of white around it, but you're basically cutting the whole thing out so that we can mount it on colored paper. So you go around the spiral, you get up in the middle, cut off the edge, try to stay as close as you can to the paint without cutting off your design, and throw the trash away. Or you can take your paper and you can trace around it however you want, inside, outside. Go very carefully. and you can cut around the outside of your spiral. Not having to cut inside of it, just cutting around the outside so that all that white space in the middle stays in there. This also provides contrast because it's got the white in there next to your colors. Either way, we want to cut off the corners so that we can be able to put our spiral onto paper. And there you go.